have another quick in-game puzzle for you here. White to move. Well, first, we're going to need to take this pawn. And now's where the calculation actually begins. So we are looking to not lose with white, of course. Where should our pieces go? How can you optimize this in order to hold? Well, the knight is going to be the one taking care of the g-pawn, and the king is going to take care of the a-pawn. This can be one of those positions to start with that some people would think king f1 is a great place to start, but I like just taking the pawn because we can run right over. And it's important to understand the theme that a knight can dance around a lone g-pawn, or a knight pawn, so to speak. So for instance, while our king is coming over to take care of the a-pawn, if he tries to run our knight away, there really is no running the knight away, because we're going to dance the dance around the pawn. And we're going to continue to do so until we get a draw by repetition, or he pushes the pawn and we're able to take here. So mainly I picked out this puzzle because I wanted to emphasize that knight draw the dance concept. Make sure you know how to dance the dance. So coming back after knight e2, if a4, notice another concept. If you draw a square and the defending king is inside of that square, even if we swap places, king and knight, the king would be inside of the square. We will be able to stop the pawn as it advances. So in this case, after a4, we draw the square. Our king is in the square of the pawn, so he is going to be able to catch the pawn without calculation. And again, we're going to see him trying to force us away, but since we can defend, it's nothing doing, and we make a draw. So wanted to hit a couple of concepts there with the knight doing defense, and again, we'll have a nice square the pawn position to finish things out. We'll start it on a3. So if I come from here, white's pawn is definitely going this way. Meant to do arrows. Little technical difficulties. So we draw the square. The black king is in the square. So without thinking, we should know that the king can stop the pawn. But when I push the pawn, notice how are we in the square? So is it a win or a loss? Be sure you're understanding the concept of the square of the pawn. He was able to step into the square. Understand the vernacular, understand the rules, and apply them in your own games. If you don't have mastery of the square of the pawn, it can save time if you don't have a lot of time to think in games. If you do have a lot of time to think and you're not sure, calculate it. You have options. That's the point. There are some memory tricks within games, but overall, if you've got the time, why not use it? That'll do it for this quick in-game lesson.